Hi guys, my fiancé and I are getting married in December.
Oh, congratulations.
As we look to merge our finances, what advice do you guys have for this transition process?
When it comes to couples, there's one big piece of advice that we often try to communicate, and it is communicate. Like as you go into this marriage, as you prepare to like begin this union that you're entering into, you want to have the conversations around, hey, who are we? What do we value? What do we want our life to look like? And specifically, how do we think about money? Like, what are going to be our goals as a couple? Do we want to travel? And when do we want to have kids? And what do we want to do before we have kids? And what do we want to do after we have kids? And I think if you can begin to have those conversations before you get into the marriage, before things start to get heavy and before things start to get hard, there's a really good chance you're going to set yourself up for success, especially having conversations around, this year would be a great time. Hey, let's do a combined net worth statement. This is going to be our first year married. Okay, here's all the stuff that I've been doing. Here's my checking account, and savings account, and investment accounts, and here's the debts that I have, and here's the checking account, savings account, and investment accounts, and debt. Okay, great. We have these debts. What's our goal? How are we going to pay this off? Like, is my debt, or when we get married, is my debt your debt? And like, how are we going to approach this? And I think if you can have a very open and honest and candid conversation, you're going to remove the propensity for any surprises to come. You don't want to get into the new year, get into January, the first paycheck hits, and then all of a sudden, I was gonna now that our income's combined, I'm gonna go pay off some debt. Whoa, we didn't talk about that. That wasn't part of the plan. If you can do that on the front end, there's just a much better chance that you're going to be able to navigate hard financial decisions, because ultimately you're going to face hard decisions. If you can start from a place of communication, you're likely going to set yourself up well long term.
Holly, congratulations. I think it's super exciting when I find out people are getting married. I even celebrated at our annual Christmas parties. I tell how many babies came into the firm this year, how many marriages were happening, all kind of cool stuff like that. And so I think this is one of those life moments to definitely celebrate. I wrote down two quick things, or really it's 2 to 3 quick decision points. If you and your fiance are both fabulously broke and young, don't overcomplicate this. It's the easiest thing, and I think this is a lot of people. If you're broke and young, and you both come into this marriage with not a lot going on, I want you to embrace the broke and just unite everything. Just bring it all together. Do the joint checking accounts. Do the joint everything that you can to make sure you're tackling two becomes one on that. Now, if there's a complication point, so that's why I'm putting the asterisk out there. If this is an older marriage, meaning that maybe there's children from a previous marriage, or you're just older, so because you're older. And here's the other complication. One of you has assets and the other has like lots of debt and other things. Those are complications that we need to address. It doesn't mean that you still don't embrace the unite, because I like joint accounts for married couples, because, especially with what you're paying the bills, what you're making those savings and investment goals for the future. I like those to be joint accounts, because money is a tool, but it's a tool that sometimes, if used in an unhealthy way, can have power. And I see too often couples who the power component of money can make things very uncomfortable in the future, because more likely than not, one of you is going to have more success than the other in your career, and you don't want to get in a power play where one spouse is having to ask the other spouse for access or an allowance or something. It just makes it weird. And that's, I don't want you to get in those power plays, because it doesn't bring the best out in the relationship. So, it doesn't mean you can't have separate account for premarital assets. If you inherited some money, even if you're young, you inherited some money, and you got to protect that stuff, because if you bring it into joint, it would now make it subject to, everybody, complexity, it commingles it. But I still want you to have that joint account so that y'all can make those marriage decisions, still two becoming one, and you take out that power structure so that there's not weird things that happen as your marriage goes 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years.
It's awesome. It's a fun ride. Congratulations.